Good evening. This is Pastor Omar Muhammad coming to you live from my home. You're looking at my salt lamp. I was trying to give you an opportunity to look at my koi this evening, but for some reason the Wi-Fi was too low. It said the signal was too short. Good to see you, Bean Silva. I'm glad you joined. Tell your friends to join. This is going to be a good message. This is Table Talk, Tuesday Table Talk with Pastor Omar. Dim Your Soul, Creation's Good. I'm glad. Share it with your friends. We're going to be talking today from the subject, Open Your Hands. I'm here right now looking at my lava, my salt lamp. Good to see you, all the people who are coming on board. I see you are coming on. This is Pastor Omar Muhammad. This is going to be a table talk coming to you from our table talk. I'm calling this Tuesday's Table Talk. Is that a salt lamp? That's exactly what it is, my friend, Dim Your Soul. It's a salt lamp that I don't know how I was able to find it, but I got it at a thrift shop, and it comes in all different colors, and it just soothes and keeps me feeling cool. Jinabu, I'm so glad that you're here. This is Pastor Omar. I am your proactive agent of change who communicates to others that might be healed, liberated, and appreciated. So today I'm coming from the subject, Open Your Hands. But I like to use as a scriptural reference from the Christian Bible in the book of Romans. It says this in the Christian Bible from the book of Romans. I'm going to turn the picture around just a moment. I like to read without you seeing me reading from a book. But it says, "And we know that God causes all things to work together for good to those who love God, to those who are called according to His purpose." And we know, good to see you, Ruby Rod. I'm glad you're there, Ruby Rod. This is Pastor Omar, and I'm talking to you about the subject, Open Up Your Hands. But I'm going to come at a different way. I want to deal with some things. You're looking at my salt lamp as I'm reading something from Romans chapter 8, verse 28, where it says, "We know that God causes all things to work together for good to those who love God, to those who are called according to His purpose." I want to read another passage I read from my daily devotional reading. It said this, "All things work for our good, even that which we call evil is helpful, leading us to the way, the truth, and the life." Suffering things, it says, suffering should teach us a lesson which would cause us to refrain from making more mistakes. It carries a blessing with it when we learn how to garner knowledge and experience. I'm glad you're there, Elisha Burners. I think that's how it says. Barnes. I'm glad you're there. This is Omar Muhammad. I'm going to turn the screen around so you can talk from this subject. Hey, y'all. This is Omar Muhammad. You see my background there. I'm at my table. This is Tuesday Table Talk with Pastor O. And I'm talking about today about something that's been on my heart. Good evening, Elisha Berries. I'm so glad you're there. I'm thinking about what I had to encounter today, realizing that there's all kinds of things that go on in our life. And I thought about an illustration that I heard about a long time ago, that sometime there was these monkeys, and these guys wanted to trap these monkeys. And they couldn't figure out how to trap the monkeys, so they made a whole bunch of clay jars, and they made the clay jars, and they put sweet things inside the jars. And they made all these jars, and they put them on the island. They put some sweet candy-like stuff inside the jars. But the jar, you could get your hand in the jar. You could stick your hand in the jar and get the sweet stuff. But if you held on to it, then you were trapped. The only way you can get free is that you let your hand go, let go of what you have in your hand, and then you can be free. What God was showing me is that sometime in life, we hold on to things. We hold on to, Valencia. I'm so glad you joined, Valencia. This is Pastor Omar Muhammad. I'm your proactive agent of change who communicates so that others might be healed, liberated, and appreciated. Yes, thank you for the love today. Today I'm talking about opening your hands. Well, we have to open up our hands. And I talked about these monkeys, who these trappers wanted to trap these monkeys. And the only way they can trap the monkeys because they attract them with sweet things. And they put the sweet things in these clay jars. And as long as they put the monkey would go in the clay jar and put his hand in the clay jar and get the sweet stuff. But what the monkey did not know is that when he gripped onto the sweet stuff, his hand could fit in the jar. But when he gripped onto the sweet stuff and his hand was gripped onto the things that he had, he could not get his hand out the jar because he was holding on to something. Janabi, I'm so glad you came back. I had some technical difficulty earlier, got thrown out, and I'm back here. Tell your friends we're going to have some good discussion. It's just going to be table talk today. Table talk with Pastor O. Shanankin, I'm so glad you're here. We're going to talk about table talk. We talked just briefly about how sometimes when we're holding on to things, we can be trapped. The monkeys were trapped because they would not open up their hand. As long as they held their hand in that jar, holding on to that sweet stuff that they had in there, they were trapped. All they had to do was open up their hand, and they would be freed and released. And I'm saying to you today that I believe that God is showing me that sometimes we are holding on to things that we don't need to hold on to. Sometimes if all the freedom that we want, the liberation we want, the appreciation we want is being held up because we're trapped by what we are holding on to. Some guy we need to let go. Some woman we need to let go because your husband or your wife is right there ready to come into your life, but you're holding on to a dud. You hold on to a person who already showed you over and over again that person is not healthy and not good for you, but you're holding on. And as long as you're holding on to them, you're trapped by whatever little sweet stuff that they're offering you, and then you cannot get free. Some of us are holding on to things, cars, houses, apartments, things that we don't need to have. God is showing us that's not for you to hold on to. Why don't you just let that go? I have something better for you, but you are holding on to. Some of it, sometimes it's money. But it could be the wrong kind of money. Some money that you just ought not be having that money, that kind of money anyway. That money was not done the right way. It's not doing that. It's not the right kind of thing. It's just not right. The way you getting that money is not right. And so you cannot really be blessed because every time you just try to do something, man, I did some tricky dicky thing and that's not good. I shouldn't be getting this kind of money, that kind of thing. So we have to let go of the things that are in our life and let go. When we let go of those little things, let go of those things that we know are not good, not healthy for us, those relationships, those habits, those ideas, we're holding on to. Some people, for me, let me go with me. I held on to marijuana far too long in my life. I wanted to smoke marijuana. I wanted to be free to smoke marijuana. Now I live in California. Anybody can smoke it anytime, anywhere, just about in California. But the thing was, I held on to it too long because I was trying to do something when God and everybody around me saying, man, let that go. I got something else better for you. You don't need that marijuana to let you, to get released. You don't need that marijuana to help you with your life. I got something better for you. But I was holding on because that's the only thing I knew that marijuana made me feel good. But marijuana has never made me feel as good as God has made me feel, knowing that I'm loved and appreciated by Him. That has never made me feel like that. When I get up the next day, thank you for the love. But when I get up the next morning, I don't feel bad about loving God. I don't feel like, no one's going to check my urine. When they check my urine and say, oh, now you can't have a job because you loving God. I was holding on to something that I did not need to hold on to, and I held on to for far too long. So I want to encourage us to open up our hands and let go. Some of the things we think in our life, this is how it connects. With the reading that we had, all things work together for good. For them that love the Lord, to them that are called according to His purpose, He'll work everything together for good. For some of us, we have been thinking that holding on to that job that we have, we know that they disrespect us at that job. They treat us ill bad. They don't take care of it. They don't have no love for us at all. That job is actually taking and zapping the strength out of our life. And we know that God asking us to step out on faith to go to do something else, but we are holding on to that thing. Sometimes they just going to have to fire you. And when you get fired, you think, oh, that's the worst thing. It's evil. The devil must have been in there. It's evil. It's bad. But we realize that some things God used to work together for good. I am so glad that God allowed me to go through foreclosure. It was a horrible thing. I did not like it. It was horrible. It felt bad. But at the end of the day, that house that I was holding on to over in the hood where I had no peace, no rest, no joy was killing me. I was going home and going to sleep. It was my house, but it was actually taking away my joy and my peace. It was destroying my life in such a way. So when I let go of that, when I let go of that, God had another place. It was for at least for 3 months. It was free. Not even I didn't have to pay any rent. And it was over in another part of town where I didn't have to worry and look behind my back everywhere I was going to be worried about somebody going to knock me up my head, going to hurt my wife and my children. God had something better for me. And every time I had to let go of something, God had something better for me. And I believe that God has something better for you and me if we would just let go. Let's look and see what we got in our hand. Do we have a relationship that's not healthy, that's not good? Then we need to ask God, give us strength to let it go. Are we holding on to some habits, some attitudes, some mindset? Some of us are holding on to the past. We got a death grip on the past, and that death grip on the past is not allowing us to be present or to even get to the destiny that God has for us. We have a death grip on the past. We got to let it go. God told me to share with you today, open up your hands and let it go. This is Pastor Omar Muhammad. I'm a proactive agent of change who communicates that other people might be healed, liberated, and appreciated. I thank you for the love. I thank you for all those people that are hanging in there. This is my table talk, and I'm actually sitting at my table with my beautiful backdrop that I got from out of South Africa. I love this backdrop. I'm looking forward to going there. Some of you might be have this in your heart. It may sound like it's different, but it's table talk. Listen, I really want to see Periscope blow up in South Africa and Africa and all parts of the world. I got 2 or 3 posts from Periscope posts from Africa, and it blessed me. So I know it can be done. We just got to figure out how to invite the African community into the Periscope community. Maybe we have to figure out how to get their Wi-Fi together, because the people are sending, they say they have issues with Wi-Fi. The other thing that's on my heart is that I've watched this program the last couple of days called Belief with Oprah Winfrey. Belief. I think she's sponsoring it. Oprah Winfrey is sponsoring something called Belief. And it's really blessing me because it's challenging me to ask myself the question, what do I believe? I realize that I believe in soulmates and that people can find their particular soulmate. Sometimes people actually marry their soulmate. But I believe that. I believe that there's one God. Maybe ask that question. And then the Muslim, Christian, and Jews and everybody else are trying to find that one God. They practice differently. They're fighting and killing one another, but they ought not be, because there's only one God. There's one God, one love, one source of all creation. So those are some of the things I believe. So I hope that as we go through the next couple of days and time, that you would take a chance to take a look at that program that Oprah is putting on called Belief. It's good. It's helping me. It's asking me to challenge my belief. It's introducing me to things I always wanted to do. Like I always wanted to see what Hajj was like, and I got to see that on that program. I always wanted to know how do people feel when they go to the Ganges River and they wash themselves and get cleansed. They said that's the biggest human event on earth, and I was actually able to participate in that vicariously through Oprah. So I hope that you would take advantage of some of these things that are going on here. Well, you know that I'm in a challenge. If you've been following me for a while, I've been in a challenge called a GoFundMe, and I have a GoFundMe challenge. The challenge is God is checking me and cleaning up my life and causing me to face myself. And one of the things I had to learn is that sometimes you have to act early. One of the big things I'm learning, when you see the handwriting on the wall, don't wait till the stuff is already upon you and you got to do something at the last minute. Please, if you see situations changing before you, I want you to learn from me. I learned that if you wait too long, you end up losing the whole thing. Act as quickly as you can. Act with boldness. Act with courage. Ask God to give you wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. So if you'd like to see the rest of the story about my situation, go to the GoFundMe account. It's Omar-A-Muhammad. That's Muhammad, and you'll read about the GoFundMe account. So I only had a little bit on my heart today. That is today to encourage you to open up your hands. Don't keep your hands closed and keep that death grip on the past, negativity, bad thoughts. What I realized today is God told me that his heavy favor is on my life. That if I would just open up my hand, see my hand, I'm going to see if I can put my hand up. If I just open up my hand, he can put something in my hand. If I would stop holding on to things that he does not want me to hold on to, that he's told me just let it go. And sometimes you don't even know. God might just want you to let it go, just to let it go. He might let you keep what you have, but just let it go. I did something today, and I'm going to tell you about it. It seems like we get connected to things. So somebody brought some new product to my office where I'm working at, and they gave me all the opportunity. I had 2 bags, and they said, and so I was to take the stuff out of the bags and put them in the 2 bags, and one of those 2 bags I can carry. What I did was I put all the stuff in one bag, all the new stuff in one bag, and all the old stuff in another bag. And I was thinking maybe I'll take the new bag, but some say, don't get attached to it too closely. Maybe your supervisor wants a new bag, and you'll take the old bag. And sure enough, when he came back, the bag that I packed with all the new stuff, guess what happened? He took it. Now, if I would have held on to it, I got to have that bag is mine, my heart would have been all broken down, things would have been crazy because it was new, because it was different, I would have been messed up. But because I said I'm not going to hold on to anything too tight, the only thing I think we need to hold on tightly is our love for God and our love for one another. Hold on to your relationships. Hold on to your relationship with God. Hold on to that tightly. Other than that, forget about all the things in this world, all the cars, all the houses, all the material possessions, all that stuff, all the money. Just hold it lightly. Use it for what it's used for, but don't put that death grip on it so that if you lose it, you lose your whole life and your whole self. This is Pastor Omar Muhammad. Today, I want to encourage you to open up your hands. I want to encourage you to be that kind of person. Now, every Tuesday we're going to do this. So if you have anything you want to talk about with me, I see a couple of people still hanging on with me. Go ahead and put your questions in. Go ahead and tap some love. Do whatever it is that you do so I can know, okay, I want to come back and have another table talk with you, Pastor. Or I think Pastor, or I think you onto something with this thing about holding your hands. Or you want to talk about the Oprah series. I love to do that because I love to interact with people. You know, I've been seeing some good stuff on it. So I'm hoping that I see. Thank you for the love. I appreciate that. Maybe you'll go watch the Oprah series with us and we'll have a table talk about what we discovered about the other world faiths and try to figure out, are they in contrast to what we're doing? Is there something that we can include or exclude? One of the big things I saw on the Oprah shows right after that was this guy named Thomas More. He was talking about we have to develop our own religion. And I was like, that guy is probably right. In a sense, all of us have developed our own religion. We might call ourselves Christian, Muslims, Jews, Hindus, Buddhists, whatever. But in a sense, we're all developing our own practice in terms of that, inside that religious culture, knowing that there's only one God. And so in a sense, Thomas is right. I would like to maybe discuss some of those things. So are there any questions before I go? Because I want to let it go. I don't want to be on here too long. And I don't want to, keep you on longer than I need to be. Our own relationship. What about that? Tell me a little bit about that. Oh, our own relationships in terms of Janabu. Do you mean holding on to it? Our own religion? Our own relationship? Yeah. Oh, that's good. All right, that's good. Flori Camus. I don't know how you say that. You might have to show me how to do it. Thank you for joining. We're about to go, but I think that we do have to think about our own relationship in terms of an individualized relationship with God. That's what you were getting at, I believe. We do have our own individualized relationship with God in the bigger context of family. The best thing about organized religion is that there are people of like mind in that same place. So all of them are in some kind of way practicing the same thing. They may all pray the same way. They may all fast the same way. They may all read from the same scripture. That's good. But at the end of the day, they still have a personal interaction relationship with God. And in a sense, they're customizing it. So I found that because creates our own religion out of our own relationship with God. That's perfect. I found out for me, now I was born in something called the Nation of Islam. So I was actually born a Muslim. So from youth until 18, 19 years old, I was a Muslim. Then what I did was someone challenged me to read the Quran for myself, in which I did. That's the holy book for the Muslim. Then someone said, why don't you read the Bible? And I was like, I don't want to read that Bible. The Bible is full of lies and half truth. That's what I was taught about. But what I discovered was that once I read the Bible, I found that the Bible really taught most of the things that the Quran had, and it expanded that understanding. And it introduced me to this individual called Jesus the Christ. Man, that was the best thing that ever happened to me, because Jesus was a super powerful teacher, and he taught me a lot of wonderful things. I am actually a disciple of Jesus as a result of having read the Bible for myself. He's taught me a lot of things. But now the thing is, having been born a Muslim, which they taught me how to pray, how to eat to live right, how to have a relationship with the one created God. So did I just put all that down and then just come to Christianity? At first I did. But then later on I realized that why did I do that? Because the same God of Abraham was working with the Muslim, Abraham, and the same God of Abraham is working with the Christian, the same God of Abraham is working with the Jew. The God of Abraham, the thing they have in common, they all serve one God, and this so-called God of Abraham. So I was like, wow, they just have different ways of coming at it. They have different disciplines. They have different things. So what I've begun to, thank you, Janabu. So what I began to do is realize that I have to put together the best of all that I've been exposed to. The same God. And the reason why it's the same God, because someone challenged me on that on Facebook. They was like, it ain't the same God. I said, no, they're only fighting about the way they practice and approach that God. It is the same God, because if we're dealing with the thing, if I understand the universe correctly, there's only one creator. And so wherever you're doing, however you get there, you have one. Now different practices, I believe they give you different access to that God and different relationship to that God. But at the end of the day, it's going to be God and you, which is going to be the hope. Your relationship and your understanding and your connection. Janabu and the others that are out there, I am so happy today. This is like one of the best days of my life, because my little table talk is coming into a dialogue that I think that people who come back to the replay or look me up later on and say, Pastor Omar was onto something. He wasn't just stuck in tradition. He wasn't stuck in the old world religious stuff. He was thinking be outside the box and realizing that every faith has something good to offer us. We have to find out what that is. Elisha Barons, I'm so glad you joined today. We're talking about keeping our hands open. And in one way we're keeping our hands open is this part of the discussion is we're not locking down on the so-called doctrines or dogma of our particular religious groups. Because when we lock down on the doctrines and the dogma, it makes us all we all uptight, and we can't even love one another. We can't even share. We can't even have genuine dialogue. So when we keep our hands open, God can do some great things. That's right. It is like robot. Do this, do that, pay your tithes, and some really the truth be, I'm having fun with it, but a lot of people have been getting jerked around by this thing. They've been kept in circles of guilt, shame, fear, and it's just it is exhausting. It is over the top. So I'm really hoping and asking that God will use me to do what I say I do. That I might be a liberator, that I might be a healer, that I might cause people to appreciate themselves and appreciate others around them. So, and that thing about condemnation, it is a booger. Because especially when you read the Bible, it says over and over again, I did not come to condemn the world, but that all the world through me might be saved and delivered. God's not in condemnation, but you know what? You ask most of the preachers of our day, they condemning you for looking at somebody the wrong way. They condemning you for having desires for different things. I mean, you it's always in a constant state of condemnation, and God does not want us to be in that constant state of condemnation. It is not good. It is not healthy. It is not anything that God has us to do, and it is so true in it, but it's so sad. So you and I, Janabu, and others who are starting to think like this, we gotta help people out. We just gotta say, you know what? Like the guy today, I had to tell him, I love you, but I'm gonna disagree with you on this thing. We are not fight each one another. Faith of Abraham ought not be fighting one another, and we have to understand that there's only one God. Now, how those people approach that, that's up to them. That's up to their faith tradition. And I know that the God that I have to do with loves everybody. He's going to figure out a way to work with them so that they can come to know Him for themselves in a personal, intimate relationship. Because that's what God's want. The scriptures say that we're created in His image. He wants us to be, to walk with one another. He wants us to know the comfort that even though we may be walking alone in the journey, feel like we're alone, but we're never alone because He's right there with us. It's been a wonderful, wonderful day. If there's anything else you want to talk about, we can do it. But I hope that you would take me up on my challenge to look at this thing called belief, see what it has going on. I'm tired of people banging on my sister Oprah, my friend, because she has an expanded awareness of who God is and what God is doing in this world. As far as I know, Oprah came to know God through Jesus, and that's a wonderful thing. But she's also expanding her awareness and understanding that God is bigger than what we put him in these little small boxes that we put him in called religion. We're going to have a relationship rather than a religion, and we're going to trust God to help us to go the way. Hey, you like Oprah? Yeah, I do. She put her money on it. She put her money where her mouth is, and it's been blessing me. Now you have to understand, I'm not just no ordinary guy. I have a bachelor's in International Studies, focuses on Africa and African American history. I have a master's of theology, so I'm an actual literal theologian. I'm a pastor, teacher, but God would not allow me to just stay in one little camp. He's allowed me to grow, continue to study, and realize there's good in everybody we come in contact with. I mean, I said it. There is good in everybody we come in contact with, and God has sent me to be a love ambassador. Me and my wife, Sister Muhammad, we are authentic love ambassadors. We're trying to show people how to have authentic love with one another, authentic love with God, and authentic love of the most important person in this whole concept. Janabu, the most important person right now in this whole situation is you, my sister. It's me. If we don't love ourselves, if we don't appreciate ourselves, if we don't get that personal healing that we need, then we get in trouble. That's why I was trying to say open up your hands, especially open up your hands concerning your past. The past few days, I've just been looking at my past and realizing that I have condemned myself over and over and over again over the stuff that I did 10 and 15 years ago. And I'm still talking about, oh God, what a sinner I am. Oh, wretch, what I've done. What? Enough is enough. It's already done. What I had to understand was that thing that I thought was evil was a blessing. It taught me a lot of things. The people I had that situation with blessed me. The things I learned a whole lot. So release that jaw trap. Yes! Ooh. Janelle, you better stop messing with me. Now you got me excited. Now you got me happy. I gotta let it go. Woo! I'm letting it go. And I hope you will let it go with me. You are a blessing today, my friend. So we're gonna let this thing go. We're gonna enjoy this present moment, knowing that God gave it to us, that we have awareness, we have consciousness, we have ability to be here, right now. So I'm loving on you. I got me some high five. Bam, 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 bam. I'm hitting them all. And I'm passing you much love today. Sister, you blessed my heart today. One day we're going to find out who you are. You can find me on all those mediums. I'm on Facebook as I got a public figure page that it says Omar A. Muhammad, comma, THM. That's my degree. You can find me on Twitter at Pastor_Omar_, Periscope Pastor_Omar. You can find me on my artistic side on Yasso. I'm on Instagram on Yasso. I'm everywhere. But please check out my GoFundMe. It's a crazy situation, but I know that the favor of God is on me in such a way that God's going to bless, and He's going to allow. And that's part of the transparency. He opened up myself to be open and transparent and say, you ain't got it all together, but you're on the right path, my friend. Janabu, I love you, and there's nothing you can do about it. I hope that we'll see each other again in these Periscope circles. Right now, here's how I close my saying. I always say, keep your hands clean and your heart pure. I'm out. This is Pastor Omar. Until next time. You're welcome, Janabu, and everybody else out there. I love you. Talk to you soon. It doesn't want to let me out right now. I'm not sure why, but maybe it'll let me out at some point. That's happened to